He was drowning in F's. His father called him worthless. No tutor could help. Until she came and saw what no one else did. Ethan, a mere 12 years old, felt the crushing weight of failure. A sea of crimson F's drowned his report cards, each one a fresh stab to his spirit. His father, the formidable Mr. Sterling, a titan of industry, saw only worthlessness, his words sharper than any blade. Boarding school, a distant, cold exile loomed. Every tutor, every high-priced specialist, had failed. Hope was a fading ember until Maria, the new housekeeper, with her quiet demeanor and a history etched in resilience, saw what no one else did. She recognized the silent anguish in Ethan's eyes, a mirrored reflection of her own childhood battle. She carried a profound secret, a gentle method passed down by her late mother, a way to unlock understanding. Imagine a room too vast, too lonely for a child. Paper crumpled, torn, strewn like shattered dreams, covered Ethan's desk. Bold, red F's screamed from every page, deeper wounds than any harsh word. His small frame slumped on the edge of a grand mahogany chair, pencil clutched tight. His normally neat blonde hair, now disheveled, fell over eyes clouded with despair. The letters on the page, they mocked him. They danced, they blurred, they twisted into incomprehensible shapes, refusing to stand still. The mansion, a symphony of opulence, echoing marble, gleaming chandeliers, the rich scent of polished wood and expensive cologne, felt like a gilded cage. Ethan, amidst all this luxury, felt utterly small, trapped by his own perceived inadequacy. His father's voice, a whip crack of impatience, cut through the silence. Worthless, Mr. Sterling declared, holding a test paper like a damning indictment. That's what this is. Utterly worthless. Ethan didn't cry. Tears were long exhausted. He was accustomed to this brutal assessment, to the servants' averted gazes, their hushed whispers that he was not cut from the same cloth as his powerful father. That evening, hushed whispers drifted from the dining hall. "Another tutor quit, you hear?" One maid murmured. "Rich folks think money buys brains. Poor kid looks completely lost." They silenced as Ethan peered from the stairwell, his heart sinking. The ultimate solution was forming in his father's mind. "Boarding school will straighten him out," Mr. Sterling muttered to his assistant. "A place where failure isn't tolerated. Exile, that's what it was. A place for worthless children to be forgotten." Later, clutching a crumpled F-marked paper, Ethan stared at the damning letter. "Broken?" he whispered. Not in anger, but with profound exhaustion. "Maybe I really am broken." And yet, in the silence of that massive mansion, something was about to shift. A new housekeeper was scheduled to start the next morning. She would walk in carrying nothing but a worn handbag and a history she rarely spoke of. She didn't know yet, but she was about to find herself staring at the same pain she once carried as a child. Ethan had no idea, but the first crack of light was already on its way through the mansion's polished walls. The morning she arrived, the mansion staff barely noticed her. Maria Johnson, 32, dark-skinned, her curls neatly tucked under a simple scarf, entered the mansion through the service door. Her worn handbag and scuffed shoes spoke of a life lived unseen. The other staff dismissed her. "Just another temporary replacement." "She won't last," the cooks chuckled. "The boy drives people out faster than spoiled milk." But Maria, wise beyond her years, simply organized her supplies, her hands moving with quiet respect for her work. Later, near the study, she heard it. The furious scratch of an eraser, a stifled groan. Peeking in, she saw him, Ethan, shoulders hunched, blonde hair obscuring his face as he wrestled with a single line of text. His small fist, red from gripping the pencil too tightly, punched the torn paper. Maria froze. Her heart ached. She knew that look, those wide, pleading eyes, the frustration curdling into shame. It was her childhood. She remembered her own mother, gently tracing letters in the air. "They don't hate you, darling," her mother had said. "They just look different. We'll figure them out together." The memory, bittersweet, propelled Maria forward. She stepped in quietly. When Ethan finally looked up, his face was a mask, braced for another reprimand. Instead, Maria offered a soft smile. "You're gripping that pencil like a sword," she observed gently. "No wonder the paper's fighting back." Ethan blinked. No adult had ever spoken to him like that. Maria smoothed the crumpled paper, placed it back on his desk, and resumed dusting, humming softly. Ethan watched her, his frown slowly melting into something new. Curiosity. Whispers followed Maria through the kitchen. Did you see her in the study, acting like she knows better than the tutors? She'll be gone in a month. Maria heard but didn't flinch. She wasn't there for them. She was there because life had taught her patience. And patience was her gift. What she didn't know was that Ethan had carried her words upstairs like a precious secret. No wonder the paper's fighting back. For the first time, someone hadn't blamed him. That night, he fell asleep without the familiar weight of failure crushing him. It began subtly. One evening, Maria found Ethan again, buried in a book, exhausted shadows dancing on his face. His pencil clattered to the floor. She picked it up. Ever try listening to the words instead of fighting them? She asked softly. Ethan frowned, intrigued. Maria pulled a chair beside him, gently took the book, and traced a line with her finger, reading slowly, letting the words breathe. Not fast, not sharp like the tutors. Then she asked him to repeat it. His cheeks flushed as the letters jumbled. I can't, he cried, pushing the book away. I'm broken. Maria leaned back, her voice unwavering. You're not broken. You just see the world in a different rhythm. My mama used to tell me the same thing. Took me years to believe her. But she was right. Ethan stared, astonished. No one had ever understood. So Maria tried again. This time she drew shapes in the air. Let him trace letters on the table. Whispered sounds instead of rushing him to spell. She broke it down, patiently, just as her mother had. And then, it happened. He read an entire sentence without stumbling. His mouth fell open, then slowly curved into a stunned smile. I did it, he whispered. Maria beamed, clapped softly. See? She tapped the page. They don't hate you. You just needed them to slow down enough to understand you. That night, Ethan read the same sentence under his covers. The words, for once, didn't fight him. Days bled into weeks. Every afternoon, Maria slipped into the quiet study. Chalk on the blackboard, slow sounds, patient repetition. Some days were hard, tears, crumpled papers, slammed fists. But Maria never rushed, never scolded. Whispers spread. She's teaching him. A maid teaching a billionaire's son. She'll be fired. Yet Ethan brightened whenever he saw her, waiting, pencil sharpened. His handwriting steadied, his eyes sparkled. One morning, Mr. Sterling stormed in with another stack of test results. He froze. Instead of crumpled failures, he found his son, diligently sounding out lines, Maria patiently by his side. Mr. Sterling's brow furrowed. He placed the test silently and left. But Ethan didn't flinch. For the first time, he felt a flicker of hope, and Maria knew this was just the beginning. Test day dawned quietly. No high-priced tutors, no clipboard-wielding specialists. Just Ethan, a sharpened pencil, and the gentle lessons of a woman the world had dismissed. He sat, shoulders steady. Maria lingered in the doorway, a silent beacon, the way her mother had been for her. She offered no answers, just a quiet nod. You can do this. When he finished, Ethan walked the paper to his father's office himself. His hands trembled, but his head was held higher than it had been in years. Mr. Sterling, irritated by the interruption, took the paper dismissively. Then his eyes caught the mark. An A. A clean, undeniable A. Not a pity grade. Not a curve. For a moment, the titan of industry simply stared, as if the paper had betrayed him. Ethan waited for the inevitable sigh of disappointment. It never came. Instead, his father looked up sharply. How? Ethan didn't answer. He simply turned his head, his gaze settling on Maria in the doorway, cleaning rags still in hand. Mr. Sterling followed his son's gaze, and for the very first time he truly saw her. Not just staff, not just a name on a payroll, but the person who had achieved what all his money never could. The billionaire leaned back, the A paper trembling slightly in his grasp. A profound silence filled the office, broken only by Ethan's small, steady breaths. Word ripped through the mansion. The boy aced it. No way. That Maid, she actually pulled it off. Maria, calm, polished silver, her chest swelled with a warm pride she hadn't felt in years. Her mother's lessons lived on. That evening, Mr. Sterling called her to the study. Maria braced herself for a reprimand. Instead, he placed the A paper between them. "You saved him," he said, his voice quiet, almost vulnerable. "Name your raise, and from now on, you don't scrub floors, you will be his tutor." Maria's throat tightened. She nodded steady. Leaving the room, her eyes burned with unshed tears. Weeks stretched into months. Ethan's grades soared. Teachers whispered, "Is this the same kid? He's brilliant. He just needed someone to meet him where he was." At home, the mansion transformed. Laughter echoed where only sharp footsteps had once resounded. Ethan no longer hid his papers. He proudly displayed them, even the imperfect ones, knowing progress mattered more than perfection. Mr. Sterling, the billionaire, learned a lesson wealth could never buy. Brilliance doesn't grow under pressure. It blooms under patience. Maria remained by Ethan's side, not a maid but a true guide. To Ethan, she wasn't just the one who taught him to read. She was living proof that the people the world overlooks often carry the greatest miracles within them. Because sometimes, all it takes is one person who refuses to give up, to remind you that you were never broken to begin with.